Hello, everybody. I just wanted to come up here really quickly and share this verse that God gave me, and it was about freedom. And I pray that y'all have an amazing day. So the verse comes from Psalms 119 and 45, New Living Translation. And it says, I will walk in freedom, for I have devoted myself to your commandments. And many people in today's society, they don't walk in freedom, right? They walk in fear of what they may be doing wrong. If someone is judging them, they're not comfortable being their true and authentic self for fear of, people may not talk to them, or, people may view them as weird if they do certain things. One of the biggest fears that we have comes from what other people think. Fearing that they may think what is being done, what we're doing is wrong. And, God has been really speaking to me about that, like being your true and authentic self, right? So he made everyone on this earth super unique, right? I was watching this thing with Steve Harvey the other day, and I also seen it in some other places, just surfing on the internet. And it talked about how, there are billions of people in this world, right? At this time. So then there are the people who came before us, and then there are people that God are going to create even after us. And not one of us, right, has the same fingerprint. And I was like looking at my fingers, like these little bitty old things, and I'm like, how could billions of designs and fingerprints and all of those things come out of, these little hands? But that is the way, God designed us, super unique, our own person. He gave each one of us personalities and different quirks and skin color and, hair and just so many different things, that he has given us to make sure or to have us be unique and different. And, it really sucks that, we can't be our authentic selves because of the fear of what society says, or, especially when you're younger or even older. I mean, at any age, you can give in to peer pressure, right? Peer pressure to do what is wrong when you know what is right. But because, you're with your friends, or again, you want to impress people, you want to fit in and, be normal, right? We kind of go along with the crowd, but that can sometimes leave us feeling empty, or I don't know, frustrated, depressed, because we can't really, be ourselves the way we want to. Also, like I said, with social media, we look at that. We are bombarded with all of these images every day. There's magazines, there's, pictures, there's celebrities, there's all these things going on, where we look at these people and we think like, man, like, I want to look like that, or I want to do that, or, and I always tell people, I always used to tell my kids when I was a school counselor, that you can't, you can see those people on the magazines, you can see those people on social media. It doesn't mean that they are happy. It doesn't mean, that behind that picture, there's not, like a million things going on in their lives. So you can't judge, someone's happiness by, a 3-second selfie or, whatever. So, I just try to, instill that upon them, because, oftentimes I would call them social media Mondays. We would always have some type of drama, from the weekend, or I would have girls look at magazines, if they come to my office, or the girls that I am involved with now, who I work with, they would come to my office, or they would just tell me, like, hey, I want to look like so-and-so, or I want to look like her, or, I want a stomach like this, or this like that. And I'm just like, what do you like about yourself? I always ask my kids, what do you like about yourself? What are some things that are good about you? And a lot of times, like, the kids really struggle to find things that are good about themselves, but we usually have to, excuse me, just kind of take our time and really pull it out of them. Because it's, like I said, it's really hard when you see so many images and so many different things of the way society says that you are supposed to be, and then try to turn around and say, this is who I want to be, especially when you're 11, 12, 13, a teenager, or just not sure about, who God says you are, or who you just are as a person, right? Like, even sometimes, I love my hair. I love my weave. And, God was just kind of speaking to me about that. Like, I haven't had my real hair out in months, like for, more than 2 weeks, just to give it some air, because it's usually in braids or, something different, just because it's also convenient, when, you're in grad school or you have different things going on, in your life. It's just convenient sometimes. But, that was just, my thing. I was just like, well, I really like these hairstyles. And I would look on YouTube and I'd be like, yeah, that looks good, so I'm gonna get that. Or I see a style, when I'm out and about, and those are the things that, I desire to have. So I wasn't really, taking care of my hair and things like that. So it's just really important to be your true self. And also, I know it's hard to hang around or choose, people, especially, from your environment. If you are, around people in your environment and that's who and that's who you're comfortable with, of course you want to hang out with them. But in 1 Corinthians 15:33, it talks about, how bad company corrupts good character. And it just comes back to, things like that again. It's very difficult, right, to be the voice that says, we shouldn't be doing this, guys, or, blah, 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 blah. And even though somebody in the group may feel that way, majority of the time, that's not going to be done. You just kind of go with the flow. And sometimes you end up in situations that you really didn't want to be in or don't like. Or maybe at the time it was like they looked like they were having a blast. You were having a great old time. But then it kind of like stuff starts to hit the fan. And then, you find yourself in just situations that you really don't want to be in. And, believers, of the gospel, we are the same way. We know what God says and what his word says. But again, listening to other people sometimes gets us in trouble. And so we have to be careful to continue to listen and know what God says in his word, so that we are being true to God. Because at the end of the day, we have to answer to him, right? And when we listen to all those other voices, it just silences the voice of God. And then sometimes we have to start back over when we could have just did as we, were supposed to. And so, and when you read the word, that, God is such a loving Father. He wants us to do well. He wants great things for us, He is a forgiving God. There's no condemnation with him. So it's no like, oh, you did this, you did that. You ask for forgiveness. You turn away from, your sin or your ways or whatever. And then you just go about your business. And, you walk, you take that walk in freedom with Jesus. There's just lots of freedom in doing things his way. Because, another thing that God was reminding me about, when you have to please so many people, right? You are just scattered to the wind. You got to please this one, and your personality might change for that one, and then your personality might change for this person, and then your personality might change for that person. It's exhausting. Like, who wants to do that? So The one and only person, and like I said, at the very end of the day, our goal is to please God and his ways. He doesn't put us down. He's not there, asking us to change who we are. He knew exactly who we were before he created us, before this earth was ever formed. He knew who we were going to be. So it's like, how are you walking today? Are you walking the way God wants you to walk, or are you following the world? Jesus wants us to rest in his unfailing, unconditional, love without limits. Man's love is conditional. I love you if, I love you when, I love you because, all these things, but God just loves us. That's it. He is love. Like, he can't help but to love us. He sees your purpose, right? He sees beyond what you're even going through right now, or maybe going through at a certain time. I had to, it was like, even on your worst day, you're a child of God. Even on your best day, a child of God. So that's why it's just really good to, check in with God, and just rest in his love. That's it. Like, rest that knowing that you are totally loved and free to be your authentic self, walk in freedom every day, because you are a child of God and he loves you for who you are. That's it. That's all that I have. And I just pray that you have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.